Mental health is a term we hear thrown around all the time. But what does it actually mean? Let's take a minute to unpack this idea because it's something that affects every single one of us, but it's so often misunderstood.
Okay, so let me ask you directly. When you hear those two words, mental health, what pops into your head? Seriously, think about it for a second. If you're like most people, your mind probably jumps to something pretty specific and maybe not so positive.
And right there, that's the biggest misconception we need to tackle head on. Mental health is not just about mental illness. That's just one tiny piece of a way, way bigger puzzle.
So here's the absolute core idea, the one thing to remember. We all have mental health, just like we all have physical health. It's not optional, it's a basic part of being a person. No exceptions.
Okay, so if it's not just a simple sick or well thing, then how should we be thinking about it? Well, there's a much better way to frame it, and it really helps make sense of it all.
Instead of thinking of it like a light switch, either on or off, it's way more helpful to picture it as a continuum, like a sliding scale. We are all somewhere on this line, and guess what? We're not stuck in one spot.
So on one end of the spectrum, you might have something like a diagnosed disorder, maybe depression or anxiety. But all the way on the other end, you have this state of really positive mental health. We're talking about thriving, feeling content, and truly fulfilled.
So what pushes us back and forth along this line? Well, it's a whole cocktail of things, really. It's our genetic makeup, our upbringing, but also just life, our circumstances, the stresses we're dealing with right now. The key thing is that we're always moving along this continuum, day by day.
All right, we've got the spectrum down, but let's zoom in on that positive end for a second. What does it actually mean to be mentally well? What's the goal here?
The World Health Organization has this really great definition, and what I love about it is that it's not just feeling happy. It's about realizing your potential, being able to handle life's normal stresses, being productive, and contributing to your community. It's an active thing, not a passive feeling. So to put it in plain English, what does it actually look like day to day? Well, it's about being resilient, bouncing back when things get tough. It's feeling like you're in the driver's seat of your own life. It's being confident, feeling good about who you are, managing your feelings, and having solid relationships.
Okay, this next point is so important. We have to talk about the difference between just having a tough time with your emotions and having an actual mental health problem. They're not the same thing.
Let's get one thing straight. Feeling stressed out about a big project at work? Totally normal. Feeling sad because something didn't go your way? Totally normal. Feeling worried or even angry sometimes? That doesn't mean something is wrong with you. It just means you're a human being.
So where's the line? When does a normal, crummy feeling cross over into being a real problem? Well, it really boils down to two things. How bad is it, and how long does it last? A mental health problem is when those feelings get really severe. They just won't go away and they actually start messing with your ability to live your life.
Let's break that down even more. Think of it like a three-part check. First, severity. Is this feeling so intense that you can't function, can't get out of bed, can't go to work? Second, persistence. Has this been your reality for a long time, not just a few days? And third, impact. Is it hurting your relationships, your work, your family? If you're nodding yes to these, that's a big sign to pay attention. But here's the really tough part. Even when someone knows they're struggling, there's this massive wall that often prevents them from reaching out for help.
And this is a really shocking fact. There are so many treatments and therapies out there that are proven to work, yet the vast majority of people who need them never get them. So what's going on? Well, there's one main villain in this story, and its name is stigma. It's that fear of being judged, of being seen as weak or crazy. That fear is the #1 reason people stay quiet and don't get the support they need, especially early on. And stigma doesn't work alone. It brings friends. Things like just not understanding what's going on inside your own head, or being terrified of telling anyone. And a really big one is just not knowing where to start. Who do you even call? Okay, so with all that in mind, what's the solution? Where do we go from here? This leads us to the final, and honestly the most empowering part of our chat today.
Here it is, the crucial point. We all have a personal responsibility for our own mental health. It's just like physical health. You can't just hope for the best. You have to be an active participant in your own well-being.
And why is this so critical? Because taking care of your mental health isn't just about preventing a crisis. It's about building the foundation for a good life. A life that feels meaningful and satisfying. It's about actually being able to be your best self. So,
I'm going to leave you with this one question. We've established that mental health is something every single one of us has. So the real question is, how are you going to take care of yours?